Hi everyone. Today we're going to look at reducing adjective clauses to a phrase, and let me just make sure you understand what that means. An adjective clause, as the definition at the top of 294 states, a clause has a subject and a verb, and a phrase is been reduced, is taking out the subject and the verb, at least part of the verb. Let's look at some of the examples. This first example, letter A, shows you the girl who is sitting next to me is my, and we have an adjective clause right here, who is sitting next to me. And in this adjective clause, we have a subject, and that is who. And we have a verb phrase, is sitting. It's present progressive. You can see that there's no other word like Tom before the subject. The girl who Tom is sitting, it's not like that. Or the girl who I am sitting, it's not like that. We have the word who, and that functions for the subject of is sitting. And we know that who means the girl, and a girl can do the action of sitting. Now, when we want to reduce this, all we have to do is take out the word who and the form of be, is. And now we have the girl sitting next to me. Now, this is not a clause, it's a phrase, and it's a clause instead of a phrase because it doesn't have a verb. It has the word sitting, but that's not a verb. We know that sitting itself is not a verb. It's part of a verb phrase, but it's not considered a verb without the form of be. And it also doesn't have a subject, and that's the word, was the word who. So all we have is the girl sitting next to me is my. And so we have just an adjective phrase still to describe the word girl. I want you to notice how in letter C we can't do this. We can't reduce it because we have another subject for the verb saw in the adjective clause. And this was the girl whom I saw was my. Now, you know that saw takes an object, and the object here is girl. So when we have an object, we move this meaning to the beginning of the sentence with the word whom, that girl, the object of the verb saw, is talking about the girl, so it has to go next to the girl. But because it's the object, it's not the subject of the verb saw. I is the subject of the verb. Girl is the object of the verb saw. But it has to go next to the girl, and we have to use the word whom. Whom shows us it's the object. It's got this M here, and that shows us it's the object of the verb. In this kind of case, we cannot reduce the adjective clause. We can't reduce the adjective clause because we have a object case in the new subject for the verb. The subject is I. That's different than here. The subject is who. It's a pronoun. If you have a subject for your verb and it's not a pronoun, such as who, you can't reduce. Okay, let's go on to the next part. This tells us how we do it. In letters E, F, and G, we see how to reduce. In the first example, the man who is talking to John is from Korea. We have the words who is talking to John. That's our adjective phrase. Here's what we do, the steps. First thing you do is you have to make sure that you only have a pronoun as your subject. We do. It's the word who, and it means the man. Those are the same thing. Now, we don't have another word after the word who, such as I, as we saw up here, which means we can reduce. Next thing after we take out this word who is to take out a form of be. In this case, it's the word is. It could also have been was or were or another form of be. But all we have left is the word talking. And so when it reduces, it sounds like this, the man talking to John. Now I want you to know that this is a very natural reduction. Talking to John has several words. Talking to John has 3 words, and it seems a natural way to reduce it. The man talking to John is from Korea. It would be different, we'll see in other examples that I'll provide you with, if it were just a 1 word as opposed to 3 words, talking to John. So again, what we did with this is we eliminated the word who. We took out the word who, and we took out the form of be, is. And we know the man can do the action of talking. In the next example, letter F, we do the same process. We took out the word which we use because we have a noun, a thing, ideas. We also take out the form of be. In the letter F, it was the word is. Here it's the word are. But I want you to notice that this sentence, letter F, is passive. And passive reduces just like active, in that we have a V3 here, but we don't have the form of be in front. In here we have the ing, and that reduces to, so it's just verb with ing if it's active voice, or it's just V3 if it's passive. How do we know it's active or passive? Let's go back to that. The man talking. That means the man who is talking to John. The man can do the action of talking. In letter F, it's the ideas which are presented. Let's look at the verb though. Presented is the verb, and it means show or given new ideas. But in this case, ideas can't present. Someone presents the ideas. We know that this is a passive meaning. We know that we have to use V3, which is presented, to describe this idea, because ideas cannot do the action of presenting. So we take out the word which, we take out the word are. This is passive in meaning. We only have 2 forms when we reduce for the verbs. We have a verb with ing, that shows us it's active, or we have V3, and that shows us it's passive. Now, if we don't have a verb in the active or passive, it may be that when we took out the verb, there's just an adjective left. We can see that in letter G. In letter G, we have the sentence, Anne is the woman that is responsible for the air. Now, we follow the same steps. We only have a pronoun. We don't have another verb or subject before a verb. The pronoun is the word that, and it describes woman. And we take out the form of be, it's the word is. Now look at responsible. That's different than talking or presented. It's different because this is an adjective. And the adjective is used with 3 other words for the air. Now when we reduce it, it sounds like this. Anne is the woman responsible for the air. We took out the word who and is, but we don't have passive and we don't have active because those are related to verbs, but responsible is just an adjective. Now, let's just imagine that this sentence, instead of saying Anne is the woman that is responsible for the air, let's just imagine that this sentence actually just said Anne is the woman that is responsible, and there was nothing like this for the air. Let's just imagine those words were not there. In this case, I don't think we would reduce, because it would sound like this. Anne is the woman responsible. And that sounds strange. The reason it sounds strange is because we have an adjective coming after a noun. Normally in English, we would just say, Anne is the responsible woman. Anne is the responsible woman. But we can't, if we have the words for the air, we cannot take all of these and put it before the woman. That would sound strange. Anne is the responsible for the air woman. That would sound strange. So you can see, if there is just one word, like the word responsible, then we probably don't reduce it. We just put the adjective in front of the noun. But if you have 3 words responsible for the air, you can reduce it by just taking out the word that and is. And that is Anne is the woman responsible for the air. We cannot move all of this adjective phrase in front of woman because it sounds weird. Let's go to the next situation. We have, in the next examples, letter H and I, we have English as an alphabet that consists. Now, this is a little bit different because this is a stative verb, and we'll see that with the next one too. These are stative verbs. What I want to tell you is that stative verbs usually don't take an ing. However, when you reduce, you have to have either verb with ing or V3. That means we can't say this. English has an alphabet consists of 26 letters. We can't do that. We have to take this and add the ing. The ing doesn't tell us it's present progressive. It doesn't tell us it's past progressive. The ing tells us it's active. That's all it does. It doesn't tell us anything about the aspect. So what we would have to do is add ing to the base. And that's because this is an active sentence. See, alphabet consists. It does the action of consisting. It does that action. So this is active. Same thing with this. Anyone who wants to come with us is welcome. Now, I want you to see that wants is a stative verb. It doesn't take we can't say is wanting. For that reason, we don't have the present progressive or past progressive or any other progressive with the verb wants in this adjective clause. When we reduce it, we take out the who. Remember, there can't be another new subject after who. It can only be that pronoun. And we take the word wants, and we take off the s, and we add an ing. And now it sounds like this. Anyone wanting to come with us is welcome. What the wanting tells us is that this noun or pronoun does the action. The wanting does not tell us aspect, present progressive, past progressive. It tells us it's the active voice. We can go back and look at it and say, anyone who wants, and we know that is active because it doesn't say is wanted. Finally, the last part, if we look at this last 2 examples, we have Paris, which is the capital of France, is an exciting city. A lot of times you'll see these extra information sentences, and these are considered appositives. And what we just do is take out the form of which and is, and this is very natural. Paris, the capital of France, and that's actually called an appositive because it tells us it's the same information as the noun before it. You might also see with a preposition, the book which is on the table is mine. You can reduce the book which is on the table to just simply the book on the table. And then we took out the book which is on the table, we took out the which and the is. So you can see that we can follow with a preposition or in a positive noun phrase. We might have an adjective phrase with several words in it, not just one. Or we might have a verb with ing to show it's active, or V3 presented to show it's passive. I hope that's clear for you. Thanks.